What's up? What's up, you guys? Welcome back. You are listening to The Conversation with Maria Byrd, and I'm super excited about today's show because we have with us a very special guest. She is a wife, a mother, an educator, and devoted follower of Jesus Christ. Since 2012, she has served alongside her husband, Apostle Patrice Meadows, as the senior pastor of Embassy International Worship Center in Atlanta, Georgia. She is the CEO of Patrice Meadows, LLC, an organization dedicated to educating, empowering, and equipping women to walk in their divine purpose. In 2018, she released a book entitled Side Chicks Married to the Visionary, in which she serves her experience as a wife in order to help other women carry the vision of their families. She is planning to open an Atlanta Smart Academy, an arts-infused STEM middle school in Atlanta. She has spent over a decade serving in schools as a teacher and an administrator. Her desire is to build a high-quality educational experience that teaches creative, critical thinking through science, math, and the arts. Please help me welcome to the show my very special guest, Lady Patrice Meadows. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. And thank you so much for that incredible intro.
Wow. OMG. I'm just so excited to have you here with us today. How are you?
Oh my gosh, I am doing well. Yes, the weather is beautiful.
Yes.
So I'm just excited about the weekend and just being able to enjoy the presence of God.
Wow, yes. Well, again, it's definitely an honor to have you here with us today. And so before we get started, there may be someone that's being exposed to you or your ministry for the first time. And so can you just tell the people a little bit about yourself?
Yes, absolutely. Well, I was born and raised in Maryland, and I've been in Atlanta for over a decade now.
Wow.
Yes, and since then I was a teacher, a high school science teacher for several years.
I love that.
My husband and I will be celebrating our 10-year anniversary this year.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Yes, and together we pastor Embassy International Worship Center, one of the amazing, most amazing ministries here in Atlanta. We will be celebrating 7 years of ministry together. We have one daughter, beautiful daughter, Amira. She's 8 years old. So yeah, I'm just a wife, a pastor's wife, and an educator. And I'm just, again, excited to be here with you today.
Yes. Well, OMG, again, it's an absolute honor. Shout out to your husband, also Apostle Patrice Meadows. Today is going to be absolutely epic, you guys, because she has an awesome ministry, and we're going to get into that. But before we dive into that topic for today, I wanted to know a little bit more about the person of Lady Patrice Meadows.
Yes.
and so Lady Patrice, if we were to go back in time, can you just tell us what type of child would you say you were?
Well, I would say I was outgoing.
Wow.
As a child. I had lots of friends. I really enjoyed being around, people that I love. My family. I have an incredible family, 2 older brothers and a mom and dad. And also I was very active.
Wow.
So I was in dance. I was in theater. I was, we were always out riding our bikes. Just any way to stay active.
Wow.
Cheerleading, gymnastics, anything you could think of, swimming.
On and on. Even thinking and listening to it now, I'm like, okay, how did I have time for all of this stuff? But I was very active. I had, my mom, she was always taking me here and there. But I just really enjoyed the arts. I enjoyed physical activity, enjoyed being around friends. We did a lot of traveling as well when I was younger. And I think that's something that has birthed curiosity in me to travel as an adult as well.
Yes.
So that's a little bit about who I was as a child.
Wow, I love that. And it resonates with me because growing up, we was very active, me and my 2 brothers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so when you said that, I was like, okay. And so let me ask you this. I just believe that as we share our life experiences, they in itself minister to people.
Mm-hmm.
I absolutely believe that. And so can you just share with us regarding some of your defining moments? influence.
Yes, absolutely. I think one thing for me growing up, my parents encouraged us to go to church. So we grew up going. Sometimes we went even without them, but we really had a good experience going to church as children.
Yes.
I remember I loved going to Sunday school. So that's something that I constantly think about. You know, a lot of churches have eliminated that opportunity for Sunday school and Bible study. And I think as believers, we have to get back to the foundations and the fundamentals. Do you know what the Word of God says? So I'm really appreciative of that experience, being able to have a firm foundation. Some of the scriptures that I recite now are scriptures that I learned way back when I was 7 or 8 years old, and the Word of God doesn't change. So I'm able to stand firmly on that foundation.
Wow.
So definitely that experience, growing up and being encouraged to go to church. When I went to college and I kind of had to find my own way, I joined the church, and it was there that I received infilling of the Holy Spirit. And I mean, since that point, my life was forever changed.
Yes.
I was surrounded by other people that were on fire for God. We had a college ministry, and we constantly were sharing the gospel. We got involved with our ministry, but just my experience being filled with the Holy Spirit changed my life as a believer.
Yes.
So that was incredible. Before that, in high school, my father actually ended up getting sick. Unfortunately, I lost him when I was a sophomore in high school. And that really, shifted my whole perspective on life. I learned that you have to live every single moment on purpose. You can't wait. You can't say, I'll do it tomorrow, I'll do it at another time, or I'm going to have fun now and live for God later. I mean, it really just impressed upon me how precious life is.
Yes.
So that really just impacted me in a way that I think translate now, because I don't waste time. I'm constantly saying, okay, God, what do you want me to do? And help me to do it.
Now, Lady Patrice, I absolutely love the fact that you said that, because oftentimes we will be either stuck in yesterday or worried about tomorrow. But can you talk about that a little bit more, like the significance of just appreciating life right now?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, none of us know how much time we have. And of course, we want to have until we're 90 or 95. But the truth is, many of us won't make it that long. So, why put off for tomorrow what you can ingrain yourself in today? God has given us the Holy Spirit to lead us and to guide us and to empower us. So a lot of the times we put off saying, I got time, but it's important for you to live right now on purpose.
Now absolutely, that really is a revelation for somebody that's listening or watching, because I used to say things like that in terms of, I have this awesome blouse. Oh, I'm gonna wear this blouse next Tuesday, and the Holy Spirit was like, no. Put it on right now.
Yeah.
Put it up, because you don't know.
Absolutely.
As you stated, like, you don't know. And oftentimes we are, so focused on the promises of God. But I have learned that we have to enjoy the process.
Absolutely. Yes, that is good. I love that. Absolutely. Enjoy the process.
Come on. And so, Lady Patrice, this is so good. Can you just share with us some more regarding some of your defining moments?
Absolutely. While I was transitioning, so I took a huge leap of faith after I graduated college, moving to Atlanta. I didn't have friends or family here. I didn't have, anywhere to live. I remember just moving down. I was here for a training program for 2 weeks, and I didn't know where I was going. So the last day of the program came, and I was just sure that I heard the voice of the Lord. And it was in that leap of faith that I experienced God on a whole nother level. You can have experienced God on whatever level you're willing to dig deep into. So having to take that leap of faith, be here on my own, and just watch God establish everything that He promised. I was able to purchase a home. I was able to get into a full-time job and later pursue my master's degree. But I wouldn't have known God at that level had I not taken that leap of faith and just trusted Him in that process.
Come on. I love that, because I had to take a leap of faith too. I'm from Columbia, South Carolina.
Okay.
And so coming here, this is where I met my husband. My apostle is here. But it's like I had to take that leap of faith.
Yeah.
Oh, and we have like a lot in common.
Absolutely.
Okay. Yes. And so, I absolutely just love your ministry. I follow you on social media. You and your awesome husband, your church, Embassy International Worship Center. And so I wanted to ask you, when you consider it all, when you consider your path, your experiences, what is your purpose?
That's such a loaded question. Oh my gosh. Yeah, but it's one that I hear all the time. People say, I don't know what my purpose is. I don't know where I'm headed. And for me, it is a purpose unfolding. So to be able to take, my entire life purpose and summarize it into one, all I can say is my purpose is to glorify God. And I know that seems cliche. I know that seems basic, but when we get down to the fundamental, when we get down to why we are all here, and that is to glorify God.
Yes.
Now, the way that we do that, of course, for each person is different. So with my purpose being to glorify God, I do that through the mountain of education.
Yes.
So I know without a shadow of a doubt, God has ordained me. He's equipped me to impact the mountain of education. That's educating women on who they are, who God has called them to be, and how to walk in that. And that's also educating young people. So I've been a teacher for several years. I've been an administrator, and now I'm going to be a school leader. So my purpose is to glorify God by educating His people.
Yes. Awesome.
Yes,
I love it. And so I'm excited because today you're going to be sharing with us regarding your awesome book and ministry. Yes. So I'm going to just open up the floor and tell us about your book.
All right. I've been waiting for this. Well, my book is called Side Chicks.
Yes.
Married to the Visionary. So the idea behind Side Chick is that women, when God created man and woman, He created them together.
Yes.
But the Bible clearly tells us that God put Adam to sleep, and while he was asleep, He took one of his ribs and fashioned women out of that. So when I think of a rib, where's your rib? It is on the side, absolutely. And that rib is so significant. It covers the heart. It provides structure. It covers the lungs as well, which you need for breathing, and your heart, of course, for pumping blood through your body. So the rib is significant. So when I thought about, what my role is, that rib coming from the side, and that's how I got Side Chick.
Oh, I love it.
Absolutely.
I love it. I have a significance as a side chick. Now, let me hold your book, Woman of God.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, I want the world to see it. Now, tell us, how did you get the name of the book? I mean, it's so cutting edge. It's so revelatory. Tell us about that.
Yes, absolutely. So, Side Chick has a negative connotation, but I wanted to take it and restore the significance back to women. I wanted to make sure that side chick, it wasn't something that people would look down on people for being. But a side chick is a wonderful place to be next to a visionary, next to your man, next to your husband. And that's not to be confused with the side piece. So we're not talking about someone who engages in extramarital activities. We're talking about a wife. We're talking about somebody who stands next to their husband, that prays for them, that encourages them, and takes on the burden, the responsibility of building that vision together.
Yes, wow, I love that. Side chicks married to the visionary. And so, Woman of God, Lady Patrice, as we dive into this topic in relation to the book, what were some of your experiences being married to the visionary?
Ooh, where do I begin? Oh my goodness. So we got married in 2009.
Yes.
A few months into our marriage, my husband quit his job. So imagine you all are just getting married, you all are enjoying your honeymoon phase, and then all of a sudden your husband says, you know what? I'm quitting my job. And he is a man of great faith.
Yes.
And I must say, in the beginning, I was not there. So I'm thinking, what do you mean? We just got married. We have bills. So that was a huge challenge. But that was the beginning of all of our leaps of faith. That was the beginning of the journey. And I believe it was a test for God to say, okay, are you really in this? This is a setup for what's coming later in your marriage. Are you going to be able to trust me? Wow. Understanding that you don't trust in the world's resources and finances, but you trust God as your provider and supplier. So he quit his job and within a few months of our marriage, and then we ended up being pregnant. Right after that. So I'm like, all right, Lord, you're going to take care of us. So really in that first year of marriage, coming down to one income, expecting a baby at the same time. And then the following year after that, launching the ministry. My husband came to me and said, I believe that this is what God has called me to do. And of course, this is something that we talked about before marriage as well. But now it's real. Now we're taking on yet another aspect of our purpose and our calling. So again, stretching our faith. We didn't have any followers or fans. I see a lot of people starting stuff, but they already have people to go with them and people to help, but we didn't have that. So we started Bible study by having Bible study in our home. So now we're welcoming people into our home. We've only been married for 2 years.
You got a new baby.
One job. And in the midst of that, my husband's car was repossessed. So we're like, okay, Lord, what are you doing? What is this? So those were pretty significant moments just in the first 2 years of our marriage.
But you know what? I love it because of the fact that, to me, it's a leap of faith. How many of us can say, wow, I'm married to this man of vision, and I have to trust.
Yes.
I have to trust what the Lord has shown him.
Absolutely.
And I have to take that leap of faith with him.
Absolutely.
It's not always easy.
Yep.
Yes.
That's right. So it's important, and I talk about in the book, being a woman of great faith. You got to have faith. Because there'll be times when they come to you with stuff and you're like, I didn't hear this. I didn't hear this from God. There'll be times when you say, I don't know how this is going to work out. But part of your responsibility as a wife in marriage is to stand beside your husband. And you all, when they go, you go together. Absolutely.
Yes. I love that. When they go, we go together.
That's right.
Oh, yes, woman of God. Just share with us. Keep on.
So some of the other things that I talk about in the book, I talk about finances, and I talk about having to be a woman who's creative, having to be a woman. When you think about the Proverbs 31 woman, she was an entrepreneur. She was not just a homemaker, but she had side hustles. She was at home making sure that the food, everybody was fed. She was making clothes for her family to wear. So you may not sew, but it's your responsibility to make sure that everyone has clothes. Nice stuff. We're not talking about cheap stuff. She was making nice quality materials for her family, and she was also generating income for her home as well. So regardless of what your occupation, your level of education is, there's a way and a responsibility that you have as a wife to ensure that multiple streams of income are flowing and that your family is well taken care of.
God, I love it. It's so true. And it's like I have experienced this myself. You have to be creative.
That's right. Creative. That is, yes. Learn some new recipes. That's right.
That's right. That's right. You have to be able, because when you're married to a man of vision, that spirit of acceleration is upon them. And you have to keep up.
That's right.
So you have to know how to cook a meal in 5 minutes, baby.
Keep it moving. That's
know what I mean? Like if he's like, come on, jump in the car, let's go. You gotta be ready.
That's right.
Right. And especially when you are a young family or you have young children. Come on. You got all type of bags you carry.
Yes. Oh, I'm so happy that diaper bag.
I know about that bag. Jesus. That's it. I mean, I'm telling you, and it may sound comical, but we are 100% so for real in this place.
That's
you
right.
have to have creativity.
Absolutely.
You have to know. I mean, talk about that a little bit. Help us. Help the people.
Yes, ma'am. So you have to be able to use your resources. There'll be times and seasons where you don't have everything that you think you need to have. That's right. That's right. So you got to be creative, and you got to stay connected to God. He will give you ideas.
Yes.
He will give you creative inventions, ways that you can get around and get through those seasons in order to get to another level where you can afford everything that you think you need. God will supply during that time, but you got to stay connected. You got to stay in your word. You got to stay in prayer. Pray for your family. Pray for your husband.
Talk about it.
Absolutely. That's right. And there's another section where I talk about intercession. It is absolutely your responsibility as a wife to be an intercessor. That means that you stand in the gap. That means when you see your husband going through something, it's your responsibility to really go before the throne. Go before the throne of God and intercede on his behalf. You war in the spirit for your family. There will be attacks that come as your visibility grows. There'll be a heightened level of attacks, honestly. So you have to be prepared and equipped spiritually to be ready for that when it comes. There's a lot of stuff that happens behind the scenes that people don't see. Pastors deal with depression.
Talk about this.
They deal with doubt. So a lot of times they're pouring out to the people. So who's pouring into them? That is the responsibility of the side chick, of the wife, to be that intercessor and to pour back into your husband. Encourage him. I tell my husband, I have the alert set up on Instagram, so when he posts something, I want to be like number one. I'm racing. I'm your biggest fan. I'm your biggest supporter. And they have to know that. They have to feel that when they're out there alone. And when you're a visionary, sometimes you go, you're a pioneer, and you do things that haven't been done before, and you stand right by their side. Let them know, I'm with you. I got your back.
Now, see, that's so good right there, because that is the honest truth. That's the God's honest truth, is that, you know, when you're married to a visionary, they are oftentimes pioneering in a thing.
That's right.
They're the first to do it. And so that simply means that they may not have that support system, because nobody knows Noah.
Yes, that's right.
Come on, like when he was building the ark, I can imagine people looking at him like this man done lost his mind.
That's right.
You know, he's wasting his time, he's wasting his energy, and all this time, you know what God told you.
Absolutely.
And so imagine the visionaries in our lives. They have visions and God has revealed things to them, but they may not have that support system. We are that support system.
That's right. Absolutely.
Yes, can you talk about that a little bit more?
Yes, absolutely. So I talk about the story of Noah, and I talk about how we don't hear much about his wife other than the wife and kids were there. So no, she didn't get her own chapter. No, she didn't get her own chance at fame, but she was absolutely there. And just like you said, she was behind him, supporting him, you know, all along the way when other people were taunting and saying, you know, this guy is crazy. Yes. She was right there with him. So as a side chick, it's important to understand that your name may not always be there. Your face may not always be on the flyer. You may not always get the credit, but you are absolutely significant in the story of that vision being born. You have a role, and you may be in the background. You know, people may not know your name, but that's okay. You just got to believe that God sees your service and your sacrifice, and that they need you. Your family needs you. Your husband needs you, and the work of the Lord can't be accomplished without you. So jump in, dig in, don't be discouraged.
Woo, yes, you know, this is so revelatory because of the fact that I can identify with this. You know, me and my husband, we have been married now 10 years.
Wow.
Right? Yes. We've been married 10 years. And so, you know, in the beginning stages when we got married, you know, he's always been a man of faith. And so I had to come against that in myself, that spirit of competition. Yes, I did. I had to come against that because, you know, I mean, I was like, you know how we can be, you know, I'm independent, you know, I'm a woman, you know, I got a word, I got a revelation. That's right. Right. But when I came into covenant with my husband, I had to become a side chick.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Okay, you know, I'm married to a man, a visionary, and like, I love how you said it. It's okay if your face is not on the flyer.
Come on. That's right.
Can you talk like you gotta like Help us.
That's right. And I think too, I am reading another book, Michelle Obama's book about becoming, and there's something in there where she talks about there's no manual, there's no job description for being first lady. There's no job description for being the wife of fill in the blank. So what do you do? Wow. And it's important that you understand again that the weight of your husband's vision, that is your responsibility to carry. And again, your name may not be there next to them, but you are so significant. If there's one thing that I can get people to understand and to really believe is that your role is significant. And I think about early on in our ministry, I didn't really want to be on the flyer. It's okay if my husband is the face. It's okay if my husband is out there. But I know the work that I'm doing and the contribution that I'm making, and it's my responsibility in some areas to just lift him up and be in that support system. Good. But there are times where we're both there together. Yes. And it's important for me to understand it's not a competition. If he wins, I win, and my family wins. So we are not competing. I have my own lane. I have my own thing that God has, called me to do. But it doesn't take anything away from who I am. It doesn't take anything away from my anointing to allow him to be out in front, and be able to have that protection too. In some regards, not being out there allows me to be protected. There's a certain level, again, of warfare that comes once your name and your face and your image is out there. The attacks come. So there is definitely protection and being in the background.
That's so good, woman of God. One of the things my Apostle Travis Jennings, one of the things he always says is, in relation to marriage or different dynamics, when I go up, you go up.
Absolutely.
And I had to adopt that for myself, and I had to really get that in my psyche and my mentality as it pertains to my marital covenant. When my husband go up, I go up.
That's right. We go up together.
Right. Because when you think about him, you think about me. When you think about me, you think about him.
Yes.
We're a team.
That's right. Yes. That's right. Yes. And in this society, people are all about me. Getting my own and everything being about me, making money for myself, a name for myself, image for myself. But God has called us to work together, to collaborate. We are a team. Marriage is about being a team. We both put in 100%, and then we have a marriage that is strong. We have a marriage that is thriving and growing. I tell my husband all the time, baby, I'm riding your coattails. Don't mind me. You going up and I'm going up with you. Absolutely.
Wow. And then I also love, how you really brought out the fact that visionaries, leaders, they deal with different things, and we are there to help them, navigate through those things.
Absolutely. Yes. Absolutely. That's right.
Come on. And so, listen, you guys, because I don't want to dive into that yet, Lady Patrice, because we're getting ready to take a quick commercial break.
Okay.
Yes, we're getting ready to take a quick commercial break. But listen, you guys, I don't want you to go anywhere. Make sure that you keep it locked right here. You are listening to The Conversation with Maria Byrd.
Thank you for tuning in to The Conversation with Maria Byrd.
So let's have this conversation
on WIGO 1570 AM radio.
You can connect with Maria Byrd here Fridays on The Conversation at 11 a.m. Go to www.mariabyrd.org. You can sign up for her newsletter. Check out the latest from The Conversation. You can be the next guest, have your song featured, or donate to the cause. Learn about marketing opportunities. Check out the giveaways, special promotions, free tickets, and the latest from Maria Byrd Publications. Again, log on to www.mariabyrd.org. That's www.mariabyrd.org.
Sunday morning about that time. Time to wake up. Meet you at church 8 o'clock in the morning. Mama waking me up for church. Everybody getting ready. Daddy wanna get there first. Me and my never met you. So glad you let me meet you, Jesus. I always believed you, even when I was young. I didn't know how to approach you. All I needed was culture. Just like Peter, I'm floating up and down like a roller coaster. Doing everything that you showed me. Sniping these demons like vultures. Good for a while, then I'm burnt out. Need to go to church. Before I go too far left, I can't do it by myself. Grew up in church. We grew up in church. Grew up in church, yeah. We grew up in church. Mama made me go to church. Every Sunday go to church. Bible study go to church. We grew up in 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 church, yeah. We grew up in church. Mama made me go to church. Every Sunday go to church. Bible study go to church. We grew up in church. Thank the Lord. Hey, up in church. Better thank Him. Hey, up in church. Hey, thank the Lord. Thank you. Up in church. Oh, thank the Lord. I grew up in church.
Thank you for tuning in to The Conversation with Maria Byrd
So let's have this conversation.
on WIGO 1570 AM radio.
What's up, you guys? Welcome back. You are listening to The Conversation with Maria Byrd. You just heard a powerful song, Grew Up in Church by Luke G, and I want you guys to go check that song out. I love that song. Be sure to connect with me. I am on social media. I'm on Facebook at Maria Byrd. I'm on Instagram at maria.byrd. You can also follow me on the Conversation with Maria Byrd Facebook page or go to my website at www.mariabyrd.org. Purchase my new book, Touch Free, a curriculum guide to maintaining sexual abstinence. It's on my website. Also, you can subscribe to my YouTube channel, The Conversation with Maria Byrd. Last but certainly never least, if you would like to make a financial contribution to this show, you can go to Cash App $Maria Byrd or go to my website, www.mariabyrd.org, and click the donate button. Oh yeah, you guys, real quick special announcement. My birthday is this Tuesday, February 5th. I am forever 21. And so you guys, I want you, if you want to give me some birthday money, you can go to Cash App $Maria Byrd. Well, you guys, we are back with my very special guest, none other than Lady Patrice Meadows. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you so much.
Yes, OMG, before the break, woman of God, you were just really breaking it down as it relates to your personal testimony and your epic ministry, your epic book, Side Chicks, being married to the visionary. And so I wanted to ask you, because you tapped into it, regarding the warfare of the side chick and the warfare of the visionary. Can you just talk about that?
Yes, absolutely. I think as a visionary, they are pioneers. Oftentimes they are creating something out of nothing. They are going into uncharted territory, things that have never been done before, things that have never been done by someone in your capacity or in your city or in your nation. So a lot of times visionaries deal with discouragement. Sometimes they're just discouraged. They don't see how it's going to happen. They don't have the people around to execute the vision that they have in their head. So it's important that as a side chick that you do become like a cheerleader. I've gotten some pushback from that, but when someone is at a level where they're doing things on their own, doing things that haven't been seen before, they need somebody in their corner just saying, this is going to be awesome. They need someone to say, I believe what God has given you. I believe that this vision is going to come to pass. They need someone who can be positive. They need someone who can be motivating, someone that will build them up and say, I'm with you. More than anything, they need to know that somebody is with you, that you're not going to leave them. They need to know that if this thing doesn't work out, you're still going to be by my side. Yes. Oftentimes as senior leaders, when you have, especially as your congregation grows, there are going to be people that say, oh, I love you. This ministry, this is where I believe God has led me to. I'm with you. I'm here for it. And then they get offended one time. and they're gone 6 months later. So it's important that as a side chick that you provide this constant source of encouragement, of hope, of motivation as well. And you have to be 100% committed.
Yes.
They need that security. Absolutely.
Ooh, I love that. We have to be 100% committed.
That's right.
Woman of God, Lady Patrice, can you share with us regarding authenticity? And as that side chick being married to the visionary, how can we tap into our authenticity?
Yes. So I have this story that comes from way in the beginning of our marriage. I believe this was maybe 1 year into our marriage. We were celebrating Thanksgiving, and every time we went somewhere, before we went somewhere, my husband always say, okay, wear this, put your hair like this, make sure you smile, make sure you talk to people. I mean, he would always give me this rundown of how I should look, how I should behave. So, I would go along with it with the attitude, of course. I'm like, why is all this important? He's always trying to control my life. But then at this point, I don't know what he said that set me off, but I just said, leave me alone. I blew up. I said, don't tell me what to do. Don't tell me what to wear. I got it. I'm my own person. And of course, he'll describe this a little more aggressively, but I had just had enough. I don't want to be this other image of a first lady. I don't want to be what everybody is used to. I just want to be myself. Yes. So it took us getting to that point and being honest and saying, I just want to grow into my own identity. Maybe I'm setting up a new image of what a pastor's wife looks like. Maybe we're going into a position that we've never seen before. Why should we be copies?
Wow.
When God has ordained us to be authentic, to be ourselves. And of course, ourselves, sometimes we need a little refining, depending on the scenarios that we're in. So I understood his heart. Yes. I understood that he was concerned about how people saw me, because it was important. As you are married to a visionary and they go out in public and, their name becomes more familiar, it's important that people really understand your heart. Good. It's important that you reflect the love of Christ at all times. So yes, I needed some refining. But it was important that we committed to just being ourselves, just being who God has called us to be. Wow. And whether that's a little quirky, whether it's a little awkward, just own it and love it.
Own it and love it.
That's right.
I love that. I love that. What we're talking about, the significance of, just being fine, okay with the skin you in.
That's right. That's right.
Because like my husband, for example, I'm an eclectic individual. I I like colors, and I just I just do my own thing. But and I can identify with that. There has been times when my husband okay, babe, do your hair like this, okay, put this on, okay, do it like this, and I love it because he allows me to be myself, but he also helps me.
That's right. That's right. We all need a little help.
Yes, we have to be able to receive.
That's right.
From the visionary.
Absolutely.
Right, because how can we expect people to receive from them, and we, the side chicks, the wives, we don't? Can you talk about that?
Absolutely. And this is one thing that I'm always conscious of. When he's speaking, I'm right behind him, sitting there. People are watching, so it's important how I respond.
That's good.
I need to be saying amen. Even if sometimes I cringe and have to say ouch in my mind, I have to make sure that I am showing my support and standing behind him.
People
Absolutely.
are watching.
They are.
I mean, and it's amazing because they're looking to see, like you said, are you encouraging? Are you supporting? Are you with it? What type of face expression she gonna make?
Absolutely.
Let me see. And what I love about it is that yes, you are aware of that, but at the same time, if you just operate in your true authenticity, I say it all the time. It's almost like staying focused or being in your own world, if you will, not allowing it to drive you crazy.
That's right. Absolutely. Because there's only so long that you can put up a front. Before the true you is going to have to come out and reveal itself. And honestly, people need your true self. People need to see who you really are. That's who they connect with. That's where your power is. That's where your ministry is. Just take it and build it on your personal experiences, your personal relationship with Jesus Christ. That is what people are going to be drawn to in the end.
Yes.
Absolutely. There's so many people out there putting up a front, being somebody that they're not. Wow. It's important for you to really be your authentic self.
Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It's okay. Like, you can be... talk about... you have to, because, woman of God, talk about that a little bit more, because there's so many of us that are wrestling and struggling with our true, authentic selves.
Yes.
Especially side chicks.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I self-identify as a nerd. I love to read. It's okay to be me. Somebody out there say, "Oh, I love to read too. Tell me about the latest book you read." Absolutely. So, just be yourself. People need that. People need who you are. They don't need another copy of X, Y, or Z. They can go to that person if that's what they're looking for. But being yourself, it really allows you to identify your calling. Some people are confused about what they're called to because they're being somebody that they're not. So be who God has designed you to be. Own your experiences. Love yourself. Love every aspect, the good, the bad, the mistakes, what you may consider as the ugly as well. That's who you are.
Yes.
So love it. Absolutely.
Come on. There's a saying that we like to say, do you.
That's right.
Right.
Plain and simple.
Come on. Walk in your true identity in God. I feel like if you walk into your true identity of who God called you to be, you can't mess up.
That's right.
Because your life is going to be governed by the word of God.
Absolutely.
And so, yes, be your true authentic self. Lady Patrice, this is so good, Lady Patrice. And so, can you just share with us a little bit more regarding some of those wisdom nuggets, some of the things that you have learned overall regarding your experience being a side chick, being married to the visionary?
Yes, absolutely. One thing that I have learned is that it's a process. All of us have goals and aspirations, things that we want to achieve. But even once we get there, there's something else. There's another level. There's a deeper level in God. There's more money. There's more visibility. There's a larger platform. So you don't have to necessarily just say, "Oh, once I get here, then I'll be." You're constantly becoming. So I love that about God. I love that where He can show you something and you say, "Okay, I've reached that," and then there's something else. So I love that as we desire and we give up more of ourselves to God, that we learn more about who He is. We see Him in all different aspects, as a father, as a friend, as a comforter. Everything that you go through just shows you another side of who God is. So I love that this is a journey. I love that it's a process. I love that I'm becoming, and that God is right alongside me, alongside of me for that journey. Absolutely,
we are becoming. Don't be discouraged. We are becoming.
Absolutely.
I love that. And Lady Patrice, not only are we ministering to the side chicks, but I want to just give you an opportunity to speak to those visionaries. What do you want to say to all of the men of God, all of the visionaries? What do you want to say to them?
Yes. Well, first of all, they can get this book.
Yes.
They can get the book too. I have men that come up to me all the time and say, "Well, is this for a man?" Absolutely.
Yes.
The principles in here apply not just to the woman, but they apply to the man as well.
Yes.
Understanding their wife's significance, understanding how to teach and to guide and to support their wife into being who they need them to be.
Yes.
What I found in our marriage is that we can't just expect the other person to just know, to be a mind reader. If you need something, if there's an area that you feel like your spouse is not catering to, explain that. You have to be mature and you have to communicate. I talk about all the time how my husband, he has a particular love language, and one of those is words of encouragement. But for me, it's gifts. He didn't understand that at the beginning of our marriage, so I had to teach him what that looks like. This is what I like. This is what really speaks and ministers to me. So men have to do the same thing. If you're not a gift giver, then say, "Honey, I need help. I don't know." Instead of just going out and buying whatever you think is nice, say, "What would you like? What would you like?" And then eventually you grow in that area and you're able to surprise them and be romantic. But it's important, again, as a man, that you guide your wife, that you understand that it's a process. Who I am now as a wife 10 years later is not who I was in year one. So we may see other marriages and relationships that we aspire to, but you're not going to get there overnight. It is a process. It's a journey. So you have to work together. You have to communicate. You have to be mature, and then above all, enjoy it. you have to enjoy your spouse. If you're going to do life with somebody, it needs to be somebody that you love, that you have a friendship with.
Yes.
We, my husband and I, we are friends. We can watch basketball together. We can go to games. We can go to the mall, even though sometimes we have to separate at the mall and come back together. But we enjoy each other. We love traveling. Sometimes we can just sit at home and just enjoy each other's presence. We can talk about a good book that we read. We're friends. So as a man, get the book, share it with your wife, but then also read it and understand how you can guide your wife into being who you need her to be.
Yes, you know, I love that. We have to enjoy each other.
That's right.
Come on, we have to enjoy our spouse in the midst of fulfilling and carrying out this vision. Take time to enjoy your spouse. It's okay to look at your spouse and laugh.
That's right.
It's okay in the middle of serving.
Absolutely.
In the middle, like, yes, laugh, have fun.
Yes, absolutely. Because it's hard, but you have to find time. Every Friday at our home is family night. So our daughter knows we take turns rotating through who chooses the movie, who chooses the food. But we have to plan and be intentional about that. Enjoy one another, because it gets hard. There'll be seasons where he's traveling a lot. He's not home a lot. So we have to understand that that's part of the process. But when he's home, let's make it special. Let's be intentional about that time we have together.
Yes, that's so critical and key, though. You have to be intentional.
That's right.
And you mentioned something just now that I thought was absolutely amazing. And a lot of women go through it. When you're married to that visionary, he may be traveling.
Yeah.
And so, like, what do you do? I want to ask you this: as the side chick being married to the visionary, when your spouse is traveling, how do you maintain? What do you do?
It's important for me. One thing that I do is we set aside time in his travel schedule, so I can go and I can look and say, okay, this week we're not doing anything. For example, we have our 10-year wedding anniversary coming up, and I made it very clear: set aside this time so you can travel the other 3 weeks of the month, but this week, this is ours. I remember times earlier in our marriage where he would be ministering on our anniversary. So there were some times where I just went with him and I said the day before and the day after, we're going to do something special. So you have to be flexible. You have to compromise, but then you also have to be intentional about certain times and seasons. And again, just understand and be supportive. Know that this is a purpose. Know that their mission, their vision is bigger than you. It's bigger than your feelings and your emotions in that time. So again, be intentional about the time that you have together. Set aside, if there are opportunities for you to set aside specific time that you hold sacred, whether it's one day a week that he'll commit to being there, or 1 week in the year that you isolate and you set aside for your family vacation or whatever it is. Be flexible and know that it won't always be that way. So there'll be a time where, because of the work that we put in now, we'll be able to enjoy. We'll be able to retire. We'll be able to have more vacation time. So understand that there are times and seasons. There are waves. There are hills and valleys in every relationship. So understand that time is only temporary. So be flexible. Be willing to compromise. Absolutely.
I love that. I mean, that's so revelatory. Be flexible and be future focused.
Yes, that's right.
Because, you know, like you said, last year, hey, we doing ministry on this significant day. This year, we're going up to the Bahamas.
That's right. Yes, ma'am. We're not gonna be ministering. We're gonna minister to each other. Yes.
Right. We have to be flexible. And then I love how you said being future focused. Understand and know that this is a season.
That's right.
It's not gonna always be like this.
Yes.
Come on, that apostle say it's not gonna always be like this. Absolutely. Like when you really get that revelation, you know, and can you talk about that a little bit? Because we're married to the visionary, but we have to, you know, see the vision.
That's right.
Can you talk about that?
Yes,
Seeing
absolutely. And you have to be committed to it as well, and you have to, in some areas, trust that God speaks to your husband. So there will be times where God may not have revealed that to you. God may not have spoken that to you, but at sometimes you're just going to have to go. You know, we walk by faith and not by sight. So there will be times where you just have to go out and trust the God that's in your husband. But other times you have to dig deep and you have to pray, you have to consecrate, and you have to pray together. so that you all are getting the same word and the same revelation for God from God. It's important for you all to hear the same thing. It's important for you to be committed to growing at the same rate spiritually. I've seen a lot of relationships where one spouse or the other is going to conferences and is being fed and imparted to, and the other spouse is not, and then they end up growing at different rates or growing apart. Absolutely. Right. So you all have to do things together, read together. You all have to go and experience other ministries and listen to the word together as well, so that you're growing at the same rate, that you're also getting that revelation. Talk to each other about it. Find times. I have a day in our house we call Money Mondays. So we talk about where we going financially. What is the vision for the family financially, so that we're discussing that things. He is sharing with me his vision, so that I understand what God has given him for our family. So talk about it. Go even when you don't see it, and then pray and get fed together. Absolutely.
Come on. And I love that. Communication is so key, because you know, one thing I love about my husband is that he lets me talk.
Yes.
Like seriously, like, because think about it, you know, when we're serving together, that's not necessarily the like intimate time where just me and you are talking. Right. But like you said, you have to have those moments where, okay, I talk, you're listening, and then you're talking and I'm listening.
Absolutely. Conversation goes both ways.
Right. Like, how do you feel? Let's talk about it. You know what I mean? Because like in when you say that, as we express, healing comes into place.
Absolutely. Yes. And your visionary needs a safe space. They need somewhere where they can vent. They need somewhere where they can share their disappointments. They need somewhere that's safe, where they know somebody's not going to go and spread. They need somewhere where they can go and just be themselves. So many times when you are a public image, public face, you have to, there's a certain amount of information you can share, certain things you can't say at all. So they need somewhere, somebody at home where they can go and just really share their heart.
Yes. That's so revelatory. Allow your spouse the space to just vent.
Yes,
you know,
absolutely.
like because oftentimes we will see the visionary, and you know, sometimes if we don't allow them to vent, you know, take that S off their chest.
Yes.
We talked about that, right? I mean, it's like, no, like, it's okay. Like, let them share. Let them, you know, detox, if you will.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Because it can be pent up. Like,
right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So they need you there for that. Again, and if you develop your friendship, your friend is somebody that you can be yourself around. Somebody that will hear you sometimes, you know, argue, disagree about stuff. It's okay. It's okay. It's a safe space, and I'm still going to be here after we get through this. Ooh. Absolutely.
Yes. OMG, woman of God. Let me ask you this before we run. I don't want to run out of time. How can the people connect with you?
Absolutely. So I'm all over social media. You can follow me, Patrice Meadows, on Facebook.
Yes.
I am It's Lady _P on Instagram and Twitter. So you can follow me at any of those outlets.
Yes.
And I'll be happy to connect.
Yes. OMG, you guys. I want y'all to make sure that you get her book, Side Chicks, Married to the Visionary. Woman of God, you know, we have a few more minutes left in the show. I just want to give you an opportunity. I just want to release you.
All right.
Yes, just encourage someone that's listening.
Absolutely. I am really excited to encourage and to motivate and to inspire people to go for it. Whatever it is that God has given you, that vision, that dream, whatever you heard that you wrote in your journal, what are you waiting on? Don't be afraid. Know that if God has given you that vision, that He will be with you. He will supply everything that you need in order to execute that vision. So don't put God in a box. He can do exceeding abundantly above all we can ask or think. God is with you. The Holy Spirit will teach you and guide you and give you and impart into you the wisdom that you need. If that vision is bigger than you, know that it's from God, and know that He'll be with you. So go for it. Take that leap of faith. You said it was a new year, and it's a new you, and it's going to require you to do some new things. So believe God. Know that He's with you. The world is waiting for you to walk in your calling. So go boldly, do it, and God is going to bless you for doing it.
Yes. Ooh, yes. God is going to bless us. Go for it. OMG, you guys. I want to take the time to thank my very special guest, Lady Patrice Meadows. Lady Patrice, will you come back?
Absolutely. Absolutely. You just say the word and I am here.
OMG, this was absolutely amazing. Just thank you again so much for coming, you guys. Make sure that you get this book, Side Chicks, Married to the Visionary. OMG, you guys. Well, this has been absolutely amazing. I want you guys to make sure that you tune in next week. You know why? Because we have something absolutely incredible for you. So you guys remember, that's next week, same time, same place, right here on The Conversation with Maria Byrd.
Like it's a touchdown. Finally found me someone I can really trust now. I always have so much to say, but no one is saying to.
Thank you for tuning in to The Conversation with Maria Byrd every Friday, 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. on WIGO 1570 AM radio.
So let's have this conversation like a radio station.
WIGO AM 1570, Morrow, Atlanta.
Well, you guys, again, I want to thank my very special guest, Lady Patrice Meadows. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me, Maria. This was incredible.
Wow. OMG, you guys, make sure that you tune in next week to the next edition of The Conversation with Maria Byrd.